How you doing? My name's Dave, and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program. I was playing this earlier on the Alpha 24, you can see, or 23. You can see we're in 25 right now. When 24 came out, they had native 64-bit support. And so I loaded up a bunch of mods and everything, but with this one right around the corner, I figured, well, I'll wait to start playing because they added a bunch more stuff. However, the 64-bit is not stable. The game's still in alpha, and they're still tweaking on it. So this is the regular one, but I did load up a bunch of mods. You can see my always present cloud mod there in the background. This is version 0.25 that just came out a couple weeks ago. So I'm going to start a new game, and we're going to call it, player name is Dave. So I'm going to start the full career and see about figuring that out. I'm going to keep the difficulty options on normal. This is new. They just added this in this version. You can select this and you can customize, reverting flights, quick loading, respawn the crew. We'll just keep it standard, starting fun. Some people are doing it on hard, and hard is okay if it's fun, but I'll keep it on normal. They also have an easy mode, so you indestructible facilities, which is another new thing that they did, but I'll just keep it on normal. And I'll leave the flag, I'll leave it as a Kerbal flag for now, and I'll get started. The loading screens, I think, might still be glitchy with my recording software, so I might just skip like a bunch of those. So, but here is the Space Center, and I do have my clouds going on. So we remember most of this stuff, and then this building. This is the mission control, where you can select the missions that you wish to perform, and it gives you funds, science, and reputation. When they first brought this out, they had science and reputation, but all you really needed, you didn't have to worry about reputation or anything. It was mainly funds and science. But now they've added in reputation, so I'm eventually going to do all 4 of these. So I am going to accept all 4 of these contracts and maybe kick them out with just the very first launch. So we have all of those. We'll say bye to Gene, and we'll come back. And here's the new facility, the administration building. It shows right down here on the corner. And if you click on that, you get these 4 guys. Listening to the kind of jazzy music there. So we got Mortimer, Linus, Walt, and Gus. I like how the public relations guy is in a hazmat deal. So, but this is where you can kind of swap funds for science and reputation and just kind of move those all around. And so I don't know a whole lot about all of this. This is reputation, I think. So the setup for the fundraising, it's going to take that. I don't want to use any of my money on any of this stuff right now. And then this, I got to figure all this stuff out. So I have no active strategies, as it were. So, but I got 51,000. My reputation is kind of neutral, and I'm a 0 science. So let's get into the VAB and build our first rocket. Okay, so all of this should be familiar. I do have mods installed. I don't know if I'm going to use all of them or not. But I do have MechJeb, which I might profile in a later episode when I get it unlocked. Also Kerbal Engineering, and I also have the MapSat, or what is it, SCANsat mod. I did use MapSat a year or so ago. It was okay. It was cool. It basically gives your satellites a purpose other than it just being there. They also have a remote tech mod. I'll put a link to the mod community page where I kind of grabbed all these, and it shows which ones are compatible with what version, and you can link to pretty much any mod that you want to get a hold of. The official modding for Kerbal is on Curse or CurseForge, whatever. I'm not real familiar with that. And then there's also a community group that has Kerbal community mods. But if you get on the forums, I'll link it to the page in the description, and you can get pretty much any mod that you want. I mean, they have deadly reentry. You know, the remote tech means you can't communicate with your spacecraft unless you have a satellite network. Stuff like that. Parachutes, visual enhancements, the clouds, all kinds of stuff. So to start, we need a command pod, and we want him to live, so we'll give him a parachute, and then we'll put that up there. I'm still probably not as creative as I could be with my spacecraft names. I'm going to put 10 of these. I think it's 10. Let's see, which button is it? There we go. So we have 10 of those, and our rocket engine, our rocket motor. Let's split our staging so our parachute doesn't go off at the same time. So those are our 4 contracts that we need to get. And let's just call this Explorer 1. Told you. Everything in here is still pretty much the same. So our rocket is $6,100. Action groups still kind of the same, and then the crew, we got starting off with Jeb, Bill, and Bob. So let's save our Explorer 1 and go to launch. So you can see one of the mods up here. This is the Toolbar mod, and that makes kind of an organized spot for all your buttons for all your other mods. So these are the SCANsat buttons, which I don't have anything unlocked for that. And then Chatterer, which just puts some cool kind of background radio noise communication stuff, just to kind of give it a little bit more realism. So you'll probably hear the Chatterer mod kicking in. Also, if you press X, you could always cut your throttle, but if you press Z now, Z just goes full throttle. There was a mod called Florit that did that, and they just kind of integrated this into this. So turn on our SAS. Also, something that they did, if I click on the crew hatch, they kind of fixed that hit detection there. So you can transfer now within your spacecraft. So instead of having to do an EVA, you can transfer from one to the other. Or like in a space station, if you have multiple modules, you don't have to EVA, you can just transfer to a different part of the spacecraft. So we have full throttle, and we're ready to launch in 3, 2, 1. Launch. You can hear the Chatterer in the background. It's done in the Kerbalese language, which is kind of high-pitched, sped up backwards Spanish. So, which I thought was pretty interesting. So we'll get a crew report right here, and we'll keep that. I didn't put an antenna on deliberately because I intend to bring all of this back for 100%. I guess I could have sent that. Crew reports I think transmit with 100%. So I haven't had really any major issues. I was playing around with it a little bit. Oh, there's the moon. There's Moon, I guess, since it has a proper name. So we'll be shooting for that again. It was funny, my last playthrough, my objective was getting to the moon, and I sent rovers to Duna and went all over the place, but there's still a whole rest of the solar system to explore. So we're almost at time for our gravity turn, so we'll get started on that right now. Not too far, not too far. No, go back. Right there. There we go. Go to our map view. And come in and see where we're at. I was able to do this before, playing around with it. Hopefully I have enough fuel to keep doing it. So let's click on that. That'll keep it on the screen. So let's see if we can get it up to 90. There we go. And now we're in orbit. Or not orbit. We're not in orbit. We're almost in space. So that took care of the first 2 contracts. So reach space, we'll do that in just a moment. And I'm going to shoot for an orbit. If I can get it, that's great. If I can't, well, we can always try again. That contract doesn't expire. So hopefully I have enough fuel to get into orbit. So I could have taken another crew report, I guess. If I had an antenna, I could transmit that one. They also enhanced the nav ball. There was a mod that did a nav ball enhancement. So there, we made 3 of our contracts. And the nav ball enhancement, all that did was put normal, anti-normal, and the other one. It put indicators all over it. So it's almost time to start firing for our orbit. We'll get a little bit closer to being lined up here. And see if I hit the Z button, see how this works. Bam! Full throttle. There we go. This has to hit 22, 23, 100 meters per second. And then I'll hit the X button. Let's see, where does that put us? That's 124. That's 65. What am I doing on fuel? I got just a little bit, but if I burn just a touch right here, I'll be in a full orbit. So, city lights and stuff. It's working kind of good. The textures are a little bit weird. But so far I haven't had really any issues with it. So no, I don't need to add a maneuver to get rid of that. So we'll go back to our rocket. And I don't want to EVA Jeb just yet. I could be getting more science, but they like to kind of fly off the capsule, and I want to make sure that I'm able to do this burn over here to get into a stable orbit before I start doing anything like that. Because if he flies away and then I got to steer him back, you know, I might be all the way over here by the time I get to him. I don't think so. It shouldn't take me that long, but I can just speed up time. Okay, we're almost to our apoapsis. See the little blue one? The blue indicator to show like going away from the planet. What is that? I forget what it's called. So we'll get right here. Go a little bit further. And then just a touch. Boom. And we're in an orbit. So there we go. Got all 4 of our contracts complete. So now I should have enough fuel to deorbit. Let's see. Let's rotate till the door's right there. And I'll back up a little bit so that window stays there, because that window doesn't stick with it. See, that window stays right there. So these buttons get hidden sometimes. We'll EVA jib. So you probably could hear him breathing too. So we're doing EVA over the Highlands. We'll keep that data. And then we can take all the data and then store it. Whoops, there we go. So now he can do another crew report if he wanted to. So we got the Highlands. Just gonna wait on that. And I'll probably speed this up while he zings around the planet. And I'll get reports from as much stuff as I can. And see if we're able to bring back a little bit of science. So I'll speed this up, and then I'll bring you in right before we burn to deorbit. Sometimes you have to monitor this, because see how he's drifting on the ladder? He'll just kind of drift off and float away. So you have to make sure that he's okay. So I got highlands and grasslands. Should be desert somewhere. I was thinking it was this, but maybe not. And mountains. I should be able to get EVA reports from those. I have grasslands. I don't know if there's any lowlands. See how he's drifting? He'll just drift right off of there. So that's why I'm kind of monitoring him. And I don't want to do time acceleration, because I think that'll just fling him right off. So I just brought you in to kind of tell you that. I'll just sit here and keep clicking, see what science we can get. Alright, I'm ready to set up my maneuver, I've got, I think, quite the little pile of science. Let's see, I got 7 plus a crew report. Still got good electric charge. So, and Jeb didn't fly off once. He got pretty close. So let's find KSC. It's right there. So I might get close, but I don't think so. There we go. Atmospheric drag should bring us in a little bit. We should land hopefully fairly close to the Space Center. So where's the planet? There it is. So we're going that way. There's the moon, which is going to be another one of our goals on this one. But let's see where we get to with this. Let me speed it up a bit. And when we start hitting the atmosphere, that's going to slow us down pretty good. Boom, there goes time compression. We might come down in the mountains here. I think it's going to, or before, this is probably going to slow us down quite a bit. So Jeb is still looking pretty happy. Oh yeah, I can still look inside, right at the sun. So, but we have our return coming in. So we can speed this up just a bit. It'll give you this physics warp warning. So physics warp is the first 4 tiers. When you're in the atmosphere or anything like that, it still applies the physics. So if your rocket's pretty wobbly or you have other issues or something like that, it might hurt a little bit. There's the Space Center right there. So we're coming down pretty good. This is going to start slowing our descent quite a bit. See if I can angle up. I wonder if I turn that off. There we go. Flying right over top the Space Center. There's the remote facility, the abandoned airfield. So here we come. I won't be able to land right on it, and I hope I don't, because you can destroy the buildings now. And then you have to pay to fix them. So we're going to come in right here. Oh, this is great. Jeb can swim back. So we'll stage, put out our parachute. That'll slow us down quite a bit. Yeah, they could just send a boat from over here to come and pick him up. So I'm not going to do an EVA and get a water sample. I'll do something. I'll get that later on, maybe on a terrestrial mission here on Kerbin. But coming right back down close to the Space Center, we should get good recovery on what doesn't blow up. Most of these are going to blow up. All this is going to blow up and get destroyed when it hits the water. So, but yeah, not too bad a shot right there. So, especially on a first launch, I probably could have tweaked it just a little bit if I knew what I was doing. How much fuel do I got left? just a little over 1.5 units. So we have successful deployment of the parachute and the moon in our window. We can zoom way in. Look at that. Take a picture of that. There we go. That was pretty cool. And we have splashdown. So Jeb is okay. His capsule's good. Let's recover our vessel. You can also go back directly to the Space Center. I don't remember if this was on the last update or on this update, but let's see how much science we get. There we go. We earned 66.5 points of science. It gives us 116, so we must have got the other science from the missions. But these are all of our reports. So recovery of the command pod, the parachute, the monopropellant, we got refunded. So we got almost $1,000 refunded from that, and we have 141,000, almost 142,000 bucks. And then with our crew, we made it back safe, and we got 259 reputation, which I got to figure out what that means. But I'm going to call this an episode. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you at the next one. Bye.